gentlemen, our top focus is possibly an escalation of tension yet again when it comes to the India-Canada tensions. Canada has blocked Australian media outlet. It's a digital outlet, Australia Today. It's blocked it on X and social media. The censure has come after Australia Today broadcasted the joint press conference of External Affairs Minister of India, Jaishankar, along with the Australian counterpart. And External Affairs Minister had, of course, raised concerns about how there was space being given to Khalistani elements in Canada, quite in violation of what India has been demanding, space even in the political arena across the departments in Canada. India had called out Canada's hypocrisy. India has now said, we are surprised. This looks extremely strange. A big breaking news coming in at this point. Let's listen in to the Ministry of External Affairs reaction.
Handles and pages of this particular outlet, which is an important diaspora outlet, has been blocked and are not available for viewers in Canada. This happened just a few hours after this particular handle carried the press conference of External Affairs Minister along with Penny Wong. But nonetheless, what I will say that these are actions which yet again highlight the hypocrisy of Canada towards freedom of speech. So you can draw your conclusions from that why the Australia Today channel was blocked by Canada.
My colleague Rishabh joins us at this point. Very good evening, Rishabh. We are, of course, trying to reach out to Australia Today, their representatives as well. But Rishabh, could you explain to us the sequence of events? Also, could you tell us a little bit about this digital portal, the Australia Today?
Well, definitely. External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar is in Australia. He was in Canberra where he held talks with Penny Wong, his Australian counterpart. And after the talks, there was a press conference where Dr. Jaishankar was posed with questions on Canada as well. Remember, Australia is part of Five Eyes, and there have been a lot of chatter about Canada sharing their issues with Australia and other members of Five Eyes as well. So on a question that whether Canada was discussed or not, Penny Wong as well as Dr. Jaishankar spoke about the issue and also discussed about how India sees Canada issue right now, and the External Affairs Minister went on to speak a lot on Canada as well at length. Australia Today, which is a diaspora-based community media platform, also aired the excerpts of what External Affairs Minister spoke about on Canada, on the issue of Khalistan, as well as the anti-India sentiment that is brewing in Canada and is being fanned by the government of Canada as well. And while this was being aired on Australia Today, within 2 hours of airing these elements on their web channel as well as Twitter handle, which is X handle now, the X handle of Australia Today was withheld in Canada, and you can see on your screens as well that how the Australia Today Twitter handles have been withheld in Canada. And this showcases, as External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Randeep Jaiswal rightly pointed out, that it is in a way hypocrisy on the part of Canada when it comes to the freedom of speech, given that they have given space to a lot of violent as well as anti-India elements in the name of freedom of expression. Here, the freedom of expression for Australia Today and External Affairs Minister was even curtailed.
Absolutely, Rishabh. In fact, Rishabh, just stay on with us if you could. Just as you were talking about the freedom of expression, it's very interesting that you bring this point up as well, because the fact is, whenever India has gone ahead and raised the concern about Khalistani separatist elements, designated terrorists as well, in Canada, their attacks, Canada has always said that they cannot stop their expressions. Everybody is free to speak. In fact, even when the Indian diplomats were jeered for that matter, the Canada did not come down heavily on them, and Canada has always maintained that they have a freedom of speech. And here you literally have something which is being broadcasted across the world. It's two ministers, it's the External Affairs Minister of India and his counterpart, literally, who are addressing a press conference. There's valid questions that are asked of the ministers, and he's responding to those questions. And Canada goes on to block this. Now, how is this to be looked even in the international paradigm? Because countries that uphold the right to express, the right of media, there are so many aspects to this, and Canada just about goes and blocks that site, which is actually even a representation of a diaspora, as you have been mentioning, Rishabh.
Well, if we talk about the desperation that we have noticed in the Justin Trudeau government, it categorically shows that anything that is against what Justin Trudeau perceives of world is not allowed, and that is something that is implied here as well. While the freedom of expression has been boasted about by Canadian government, the freedom of expression is nothing but just accumulation of vote bank in Canada, and anything that dents that or shows mirror to Canada becomes a problem of freedom of expression, and that cannot be allowed. And that's what happened with Australia Today as well, when the Twitter handle was withheld. And remember, Australia Today is not just a diaspora community in Australia, but world over. Australia Today is being seen, watched, and consumed by Indian diaspora, given that the diaspora worldwide, when it comes to Indian diaspora, they are connected. And the way Canada has taken steps, it showcases that anything and everything that they have done, first the way the accusations against India fall flat, and now this showcases that Canada doesn't have much of substance when it comes to the whole issue.
Rishabh, thank you very much for joining us, for putting things in perspective. This, of course, is yet another low. Canada going ahead and just blocking a digital portal because they had aired, in fact, they had shared the joint broadcast of External Affairs Minister with his Australian counterpart, which had garnered a lot of shares and views.